Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Shivani and I lead Trinamix operations for ANZ region. We are excited to share how Oracle Financial Cloud is helping Honan Insurance to improve productivity and eliminate the manual operations. So joining me will be Caroline Wenger, the Financial Controller at Honan Insurance Group, Sam Mani, ERP Sales Director at Oracle, Prairie Chalani, Solution Architect at Trinamix. So welcome Caroline, Sam, Prairie. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Shivani.
So let me take this opportunity to hand over to our speakers and give them a chance to introduce themselves. Let us start with Caroline.
Thanks, Shivani. I have nearly 20 years in experience in accounting and finance. I'm CA qualified, coming up to nearly 20 years, just shy of that. And look, I've worked in professional services, in some large multinational companies, and have a lot of experience in month-end reporting, financial statements, dealing with the auditors on a daily basis, and really got involved also with systems migrations at previous companies. So it's something that I, am really interested in, and I'm lucky that I get to work with this sort of project on a daily basis. Thanks, Shivani.
So now let's know more about Sam. So handing over to you.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Shivani. So yes, I'm Sam Mani. I have the pleasure of working for Oracle now for 6 years. By way of background, I'm actually an engineer, telecommunications engineer to be exact, and working across SIs, telecommunication providers, and the like, and now with Oracle. And it's been a great journey so far. Seeing the transition of Oracle going from a licensed provider to now a SaaS provider, focusing on both actually, has been fantastic. And what's even greater is, watching our customers make the transformation, the digital transformations, and seeing them realize the benefits that they expected. So it's been a good journey, and we hope to take Honan further on that journey.
Great, good to hear that. So now over to you, Prairie.
Thanks, everyone. This is Prairie Chalani, and I'm having 12 plus years of experience in the implementation of Oracle products, both on-prem and cloud solutions. And as part of my background, I'm a chartered accountant, and I've worked across the different verticals, having from high-tech, manufacturing, telecommunications, service industry, more onto implementation side. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much all for your introductions. So now we are going ahead. So we are going to focus our discussion today on the overall journey of Honan Insurance, which is one of the leading companies in the insurance broking sector. As a part of this discussion, we would like to cover some of business challenges that Honan faced and how Honan benefited in streaming their business processes and eliminating the manual operations by leveraging the Oracle solution. So we will chat with Caroline, Sam, and Prairie about the implementation journey and their overall experience at Honan. At the later stage, we will have Q&A at the end, but feel free to push the little Q&A button at the bottom of the screen during the presentation. We will also share the recorded link to all the attendees. So let me start with a little introduction about Trinamix. So Trinamix is a leading implementation specialist that facilitates customer in the digital transformation of their supply chain using Oracle Supply Chain Management, Product Lifecycle Management, Oracle Financials, Supply Chain Execution, smart technologies like IoT and blockchains, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and analytics. So now without further ado, let's learn about the Honan and talk to our speakers. So my first question is for you, Caroline. For those audience who are not familiar with Honan Insurance, could you please give us a quick overview of your company?
Absolutely, Shivani, I would love to. I'll just wait for that first slide to come up there. So yes, Honan is one of Australia's fastest growing international brokers. We are full service in insurance and risk advisory. We have the sophistication of the major players and have access to the global networks of the largest brokers. Our point of difference is that we're not just a transactional broker, but rather a true partner working closely with our clients to come up with the best outcomes. Could we go on to the next slide? Thanks. Honan is located in quite a few different countries. We're in Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and New Zealand, and currently at the moment have about over 200 employees. Look, we've been around for more than 55 years, but we pride ourselves on being dynamic and innovative. One of our key differentiators is our ability to manage and place unique and complex risk profiles. And as Australia's only representative of the Worldwide Broker Network, which is one of the largest networks, independent insurance and risk advisors, we have the resources and expertise to help clients navigate the challenges and opportunities in the global market. If you go on to the next slide, thank you. As you can see there, we have a list of the areas that we operate in. So we provide a full range of services for large and medium corporates, as well as in strata and retail sector, and also even encompassing claims management. We offer many products, from public and product liability, directors and officers liability, across to motor fleet, and we also have a strong capability in cyber insurance, which, as you know, is increasingly focus area at the moment. So I've chosen to finish off on this last slide because clients is where it begins and ends for us at Honan. Look, this is just a snapshot of the many clients we have at Honan. And look, many of them have been clients for a number of years. So we're incredibly proud, you know, of our loyalty rate. And this is something that, you know, is of great pleasure to us. Thanks, Shivani.
Thank you, Caroline, for sharing the wonderful introduction about Honan. I wanted to have one more question to you before we jump to the next speaker. Could you please describe the reasons and the business drivers that led you to upgrade to Honan to take to the journey of Oracle Cloud?
Definitely, Shivani. So I came on board at Honan about 3 years ago now. At the time, we were on MYOB. Look, it was just really difficult to get an overview of the company. There was different instances of MYOB, you know, different chart of accounts. There was just no consistency, and it was even difficult to see the view of our overseas operations. It was also taking us, you know, 2 to 3 weeks to close our month end. You know, we had no smart reporting tools, and it was just, you know, very difficult to get any consolidated numbers, transparency on results. So what we were looking for was a system that could, you know, help reduce our processing time at month end. We wanted it to be accessible from every office location. We also wanted it to grow. Look, that was a very important factor because we're, you know, a growing company. So, you know, it had to be scalable. It could grow as we grew. So, and actually one of the other reasons was, you know, we were just looking for some intelligent reporting tools, you know, which Oracle has. So it was on our search for this new system that Oracle ticked all the boxes for us in this regard. Thanks, Shivani.
Thank you, Caroline. So I wanted to ask my next question to Sam. So Sam, from your perspective, what are some of the trends that you see with customers in adoption for Oracle ERP Cloud?
Sure, thank you. It's a good question in that, you know, in terms of what are the key trends. Certainly, given the, you know, the current environment that we're in, what we're finding is that for a lot of boards and CEOs, being resilient, continuing as business as usual, you know, during the tumultuous times is of high priority. So what has this led to is driving digital transformation and, you know, replacing the technology that's probably holding them back. And again, giving that ability to be resilient. So, you know, what the cloud deployments provide is it's actually a catalyst to improve their back office functions. So similar to what, you know, Caroline just said, it's about, you know, automating as much as they possibly can and driving a lot of the manual labor out, but doing things efficiently. So that means it's put the ERP in the spotlight because, as a back office operation, that is an area that you can automate as much as possible because 70% of it is actually, just repetitive stuff. So driving the resiliency is something that's been of top priority. The other that I would say is, ERP systems, the legacy systems were previously seen as function-specific solutions, such as accounts receivable or payables and such functions. But now, if you look at the SaaS as it is, it's recognized as departmental solutions for the whole of finance or HR, procurement, supply chain, and manufacturing included. The great thing is because we have, at Oracle, because we have that single data model, we're able to provide the mega ERP suite that spans across all the various departments and functions. So what this does is give a holistic view of information across finance, HR, customer data, operational data. So when this data is enhanced with further with AI-powered automations and interactions, the suite actually gives you greater or more powerful decision-making resources. So you've gone from system of records to system of information combined. So we're seeing our customers see that, realize that value more and more. The other thing, as I've mentioned before, it's about driving out manual processes and ensuring automation. And certainly the back office processes is, it's a perfect place to start because, as I mentioned, 70% of it, can actually be automated because it's repetitive. And going to, Carolyn's point about how long it took for them to close their books, 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, I want to actually use Oracle as an example here. We are operating out of 145 countries. We report, 11 business days after quarter ends. We're the first to actually report externally by the 14th day. We've reduced our month-end close cycles with reconciliation going from 5 hours to 1.5 hours. So, I mean, we're across, as I said, across 145 countries. The other thing, what the SaaS provides is over 70% of our transactions are automated using CX Cloud. Aside from technology, the other key point that I must also state is that it's important that our customers, also adjust their internal process to achieve these benefits. The SaaS can provide you those benefits as levels of automation, but it needs to be adopted by the customer. And this is where, partners like yourself are very important in taking the customer through that journey. Another point I want to mention around the trends is democratization of decisions. Previously, the systems were all disparate and information didn't really flow the way it should or it could. And so what the modern SaaS platform does and our ERP does, it democratizes and distributes the data. So, people who have got the credentials or even who can access the system can actually get to the relevant context and information. And what this means is that they can quickly make the necessary, decisions, do their tasks quicker, solve problems faster because they've actually got access to that pertinent information and it's accurate in real time. So lastly, I want to land on this point. The subscription-based business model makes cloud economics attainable to all levels of the organization, all types of organization, all sizes of organization. So, as Honan grows, it's actually adding on just more subscription. So that scalability and the flexibility is there. And further to that, it allows Honan to focus on their customers because the SaaS platform is evergreen. We are delivering that frictionless innovation to our customers so that they can actually focus on their own customers. As Carolyn mentioned, It's about their customers. It's about the renewal of their customers. It's about keeping their customers. So it lets Honan go do what it needs to do for its customers.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's quite informative. And please add some more points if you want to add more.
Oh, no, I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So my next question is for Prairie. So insurance sector being a niche area, what points were considered while implementing Oracle Cloud at Honan? Were there any customization involved and how they were managed?
Yep, that's really a nice question. Considering Honan being an insurance sector, and insurance sector being itself a different area or a vertical to work upon. Yes, there were certain customizations that were done. I know that Oracle Cloud does support for minimum customization, but believe me, considering whatever the implementations we have done so far, you can at least customize the system in a way that you want to operate your business, and it would be pretty smooth. So coming back to Honan's journey, wherein there were certain customizations that were involved, or I would say there were certain workarounds also that were involved. So first thing, from a technical perspective, main requirement from an Honan perspective was the issuance of invoice to their customers. So as we know that when it comes to an insurance sector, there are certain attributes that are to be captured, which are not a standard fields as a part of Oracle. So for example, policy details, policy start dates and end dates, certain clauses regarding the policy. So these things were supposed to be captured over the invoice, which was bound to be sent it across to the customer via Oracle, right? So and there were, I think, several entities of Honan that were going to issue this type of invoices, and each of the entities had different products in itself, insurance products in itself, and for each product there were certain attributes to be captured and certain attributes to be removed. Considering all these complexities, the main aim was to come up with the customization where the maintenance is quite low. So what we did, we created one single template, and based on certain rules, like what is the type of invoice, which entity is going to use that particular invoice, we designed a solution or a customized invoice template that were used by all the entities to issue the invoice to their customers. On the other hand, from a functional side, I would just like to highlight two major areas where we did provide the workarounds. One was Honan's business model was that Honan used to get the premium from their customers, and that premium was held into a trust account, and after deduction of commission, the same was supposed to be passed to their real insurer, right? So considering that, the main focus was to have a track of fund balance at any given point of time. So what we did, we came up with a solution wherein different clearing accounts were used at every transaction level, whether that's been an AR or AP invoices. We did use different clearing accounts, so to help the Honan to come up with certain reports. So at any given point of time, they can just focus on what is the specific fund balance for a given insurer, right? So that was the one thing, and the last thing was around BPay payments. BPay payments was the main requirement, and we did create those formats, those specification based on the banking partners. That the banking partner specification, we did come up with the format. So the BPay format was BPay payment file was automatically generated on processing of batch payments, and the same was sent across to their banking partner for payments to their relative suppliers. The last area, what Carolyn was mentioning, that helped them to ease the month-end processing. So what we did, we obviously developed certain reports to help them, but one of the report that I can just highlight that helped them for the year-end activities was the asset moment report. So that being a key report, we did develop that report that helped them to come up with a real view of the depreciation and the moment of assets at a given point of time.
Thanks, Prarit. So just considering that question, Sam, it's coming to you now. Since there are a lot of statutory requirements in industries like insurance, does Oracle also upgrade as per the industry needs?
Sure. So as I mentioned previously, what does this evergreen environment mean? What it is for our customers who are on our public SaaS, every 90 days, we deliver over 100 new features across our Fusion stack. It's delivered to our customers like an iOS upgrade on your smartphone. It's there, it's delivered to you, and then customers then consume it at their rate. In such a manner, we support our users and the regulatory requirements. So given it's the insurance sector, I want to highlight that, the Oracle ERP SaaS supports the regulatory requirements for IFRS 17, which is very much related to insurance contracts, along with IFRS 7 for disclosure and 9 for reporting. So, as insurance brokers are required to support on all details of insurance contracts in terms of gross claims versus net revenue, etc., we have to maintain, those changes and policy changes into our SaaS. So, that means, and we do that, and that means our customers are always complying to the standards with minimal effort, on their part when it's not hugely reconfigured, as Prairie was saying.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. So now I'm coming back to Caroline. So what are the benefits you have achieved? Have you been able to quantify any of those?
Yes, definitely, Shivani. So the immediate change was the time it takes us to close month end. So that reduced significantly. And, we've even creeped that back further over the last couple of years. So that was a great benefit to us. And, aiding in that process is the tools in Oracle. So some come already standard, as Prairie had mentioned, and some were developed for us specifically to make this process easier. So, many of the processes that we use the API function to streamline our accounts payable process. So this actually eliminates the need for someone to actually key in the details from the invoice. The system just scans the details from the invoice and populates, 95% of the data. We also have automated receipting, upload templates, journal templates, as Prairie said, developing our BPay payment file. Eliminated the need for us to manually input bank payments in our banking portal. And also two of my favorite features, the bank reconciliation module and the intercompany module. So both of those have sort of automated features. You can do your bank recs directly in Oracle. It's got a matching process. You can track reconciliation items, and it's there at the touch of a button. And same with intercompany processing. It eliminates the errors of missing one side of the journal essentially, because the module actually pushes entries into two different legal entities. So all of those combined have really cut down manual touch points. Onto some wider benefits is having one common set of master data. We now have one set of chart of accounts across all our legal entities, whether they're in Australia or overseas. We have one hierarchy for financial reporting, which means you can, immediately run a profit and loss or balance sheet, exactly to the format that you require. So that's really helpful at month end, and also when we come to doing the annual financial statements and the audit process. Also, I have to add that we've really, firmed up our internal control environment. Oracle has increased security measures than our old system. We limit security roles depending on the role of our team members. So not everybody has the same access. You can quite clearly see in Oracle the audit trail. It's got, users, approvers, and it's got, you can define them to how you want to be depending on the size of your organization. And this, that's easily traced in the system. And we can also add all our soft copy documents for support onto the cloud itself. So this has eliminated, manual paperwork, and, it's really helpful when, you're coming to find support for a transaction. And then last, I will just mention, it's the accessibility has been really great because, firstly, I can see the data in Melbourne. I can see, I can look up the systems, from our overseas countries, at the touch of my fingers. And then also conversely, we can have finance members working in different states or different countries as well. So this is, obviously been really quite good, in the latest changes with the move to remote working. And, it's also really helped with transparency of financial information and the month-end reporting. Thanks, Shivani.
So Prairie, anything you would like to add? Was there anything specific you put in place at Honan that helped them to achieve this success?
Design. I mean, I would like to say here that, yeah, we did spend significant amount of time ensuring that not only Honan's business process requirements were met, but also the legislative or their reporting requirements were taken into consideration. So we did spend a good amount of time, and I would like to thank Caroline and her team to allow us to have multiple sessions spread across 2 to 3 weeks to ensure that the solution was designed properly, that helped Honan to scale it further.
So Caroline, as Frederick mentioned about scalability, so could you please share your experience on the implementation of Oracle Cloud and highlight how this solution has been scalable considering Honan's growth?
Yes, of course, Shivani. So look, I'm very passionate about, systems migrations. I've had extensive experience in previous roles, and I've learned that, if you don't do it properly the first time, it does take significantly longer to fix the design afterwards. So I was really appreciative to work with Prairie, who's also, a chartered accountant. So we were speaking the same language, and he could design a solution that would work for Honan and support our future growth. And, you had this necessary skill set, we'd work through problems together on a whiteboard, suggest different solutions to my questions, not always agreeing with me, but definitely always suggesting, even a much better solution than what I may have thought of. So look, since we have implemented the system, we have grown as a company ourselves. We've acquired multiple entities, and these have all been brought onto Oracle with no major hiccups. So Trinamix did definitely provide a scalable, simple solution that met all our requirements and has been able to grow with us. So, and also as Prit mentioned earlier, both the functional and technical side aspects have been addressed, and so we can use common templates between entities. So we're not, starting from scratch each time. We bring on board a new entity. Thanks, Shani.
Thanks. It's a great sharing. So, Caroline, just share your experience with Trinamix, considering it has like on-site offshore model.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, that was a new experience for me with this on-site offshore model. But look, it did work well for us. But our look, the timeline was probably about 5 to 6 months from design to go live. But we were very grateful you guys, we're here for that part of the design phase. So to bed that down. So we did get to see you face to face, and that was a great experience. We also loved having you guys on site for the intensive training week. Look, that we wouldn't have been able to go live without that. So that was a great help. And then you're with us every step of the way, with providing us, navigational aids, which we still use to this day. And then of course at the crucial, first month end, you were there with us every step of the way, working through us, because always that first month end close is, the most difficult when transitioning. So look, I can definitely say that the on-site offshore model did not affect our implementation. In fact, we did really enjoy our partnership and collaboration, and we have maintained Trinamix as our support partner over these last years. So look, it's been great because, we just don't have that, we don't have a very big IT team, so we don't have that in-house Oracle expertise. So this has been, been successful, and a low-cost arrangement for us. So, And especially with the pandemic, we were very lucky to experience business as usual with you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, good to hear that, Caroline. So what do you think, like what next for Honan from the future perspective?
That's a great question, Shivani. It is a very exciting time at Honan. Look, we're continually growing and expanding. We've recently announced an acquisition of Beauville Risk and Insurance Consultants. They're a professional indemnity and construction specialist. So look, you know, in the medium to short term, we are looking at further product offerings and specifically the EPM Cloud and looking what ARCS and FCCS has to offer so that, you know, we can use that consolidation tool to help further our reporting in terms of consolidation with all our many different legal entities in different regions, you know, dealing with different currencies. So look, that's something that we think would be a great benefit to our company as we're expanding. So, but look, and we're always, you know, we're always working with you guys, you know, to improve stuff, you know, on a regular basis. And, you know, we'll probably even look to, you know, because as Sam was mentioning, it can connect to, you know, to any system. So, you know, looking at all those extra links that we can get in to, you know, improve other processes in Honan is something that we're interested in as well. So thanks, Shivani.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. So Prairie, anything that you would like to also add and propose to Honan for the future roadmap perspective, as you are definitely aware about their current functionalities, what they're using?
Yep. So what I would like to add here is, and we are already into discussion with Honan, Caroline's team, Caroline being a active participant of those discussions, that Honan has always taken ensured that the Oracle system in itself is utilized in an optimum way, but at the same time making that they are going to use it in a phased approach, right? So they did start with ensuring that day-to-day business processes are met using standard functionalities. Then we gradually moved using the advanced functionalities for Honan itself. But when it came to the acquisition, again, they adopted the same model of the phased approach. So obviously, every now and then we are into the discussion to ensure that Honan is utilizing cloud system at an optimal way. So at this point of time, we are ensuring that they can use the BAS level of reporting, automate it, using it automatically way, how the Oracle produces it. And also in terms of newly acquired entities, the discussion is around to use the advanced functionalities like automatic bank reconciliations and all those stuff. And yes, as Caroline already mentioned, the EPM is going to be the core at Honan's core future roadmap activities.
Thank you, Prairie. So now we are actually going towards the end of the webinar. So before we open the Q&A, I just want, like, if you just share any parting thoughts, Sam.
Sure. Look, to what Prairie was saying, it's about driving that automation further into the organization, and it's got to be through, you know, the simplification of processes, and it's about adoption, not adaption. You know, we don't want too many reconfigurations happening. Adoption, I think, is key, which is what's going to, you know, drive the simplification and automate further. The other thing I want to say, and something that, you know, I do feel that Oracle needs to do better, and we're working on that, is actually, you know, work with yourselves like partners at our customers to ensure that, you know, that our customers do realize the benefits of their investment. And it goes back to, you know, is there a high adoption? And if there is not, how do we actually address that adoption? And that's something we want to focus on further. And working with, you know, the partner, the incumbent partner in there, with the customer, and understanding them is critical for it.
Thank you so much, Sam. So I see that questions are already started coming in. So there is one question came for you, Prairie. Does Oracle Financials support best reporting out of the box?
See, I would like to portray here like that. That see, out of the box, it's nothing out of the box directly, but yes, there are certain configurations that you have to make in. Obviously, linking your tax codes with your BAS codes, which is like, for example, G1, G2, whatever the BAS codes are, and ensuring the reporting format. If you want to automate it and get a report directly out of the Oracle, then you have to have a custom report. But certain it's achievable. It does not have much efforts to do around that. So yeah, it's not out of the box, but you can achieve that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Caroline, there is one question is for you. Like, is this is actually an end-to-end ERP implementation? Would you recommend on-site offshore model for implementation?
Yeah, most definitely. As I mentioned, we had a great experience with this model, and I don't think that it, hindered us in any way. And obviously you guys came on site for the crucial parts, but look, especially it also helped with our budget constraints, because that was one of our key aspects of also deciding in the first place which implementation partner we would use. So yeah, I would have no hesitation, and especially with, the last year when no one could even be in the office. It just proved, that everyone could work from anywhere anyway. But we didn't have to make that adjustment with you guys because, we already had that model. So thanks, Shivani.
Yeah, that's good to know. So there is one question for you, Sam. What is the one advice you would give to other customers for who are looking for the similar kind of implementation project?
Certainly, having a baseline of what they want to achieve through such a transformation, making and sharing that with ourselves and with Oracle, making sure that Oracle is part of that implementation journey, keeping us in the loop around with the steerco, helps us address issues and help the customer and indeed the partner quicker in the implementation phase. So that means, we are actually delivering on time within budget. That's probably what I would say. Keep us in the loop during implementation.
Sure. Thanks, Sam. There is one more question for you, Prairie. How has cloud eased the month-end processing?
Yeah, so see, I would like to Carolyn mentioned during his talk multiple times that they had been eased, the month-end processing has been eased, but yeah, that completely depends upon how your business processes are defined. And obviously, if you are using Oracle Cloud and you are adopting the best practices that are suggested by Oracle Cloud, then there are certain tools or reports that would help you to quicken up your month-end processing or ensure that the reconciliations are done automatically. Just for one example, right? So AP to GL reconciliation, you have out of the box these kind of reports. You don't have to do these detailed reconciliations manually, ensuring one-to-one transaction reconciliation. You have this out of the box report, and you can have that automated, right? So that, with considering that, it completely depends upon organization to organization, but Oracle does have certain tools, and if you are opting for best practices, it's going to be pretty easy for you to do the month-end closing. Yes. Yeah. So there is one more question, I believe it's for Caroline. How has the Oracle implementation helped further your career at Honan, Caroline?
Thanks, Fred. Well, look, I did come on board to this role to assist with the implementation because I had some past experience. But it was something that I did approach with trepidation because I was quite comfortable in a prior role. But look, I can definitely say it's one of the best decisions I've made because, I was able to take this project, make it my own, and really help improve the processes at Honan and, increase, efficiencies. And, I have really, enjoyed my time here. I started off with a very small team, and I'm fortunate enough to say that team has grown, exponentially over the last few years. And I really think we're helping to deliver, our finance team is helping to deliver a great result to the wider business and to the management team.
Okay, so well, that wraps up our Q&A portion. And that concludes our webinar for today. So I really want to thank my all speakers, Caroline, Sam, and Prairie, for your precious time. You came here and shared your journey with us. It's our pleasure to have all of you on board with us. So for the participants, if you have any further question, any comments, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We will definitely get back to you and answer all the questions we can. So have a very lovely day further. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank
everyone.
you, Caroline.
you.
Thank you, Trinamix.
Thank you.
Thank you.